Hey everybody, this is Modern Refugee. Got a bit of a storm here today. Started out as rain and now it's snow. Having some coffee here and got a fire going. I know it doesn't look like it yet, but I do have a fire going out here. And it reminded me of something that I thought I was going to do a video on for you guys. When I was a teenager and I first started getting into the outdoors thing, the hunt and the camp and the fish and that kind of stuff. I didn't really have anybody to teach me. I'm kind of self-taught. So I'd ask the old timers, where do I get it, some information and where can I learn about this kind of stuff? And they pointed me in different directions, different literature to read and different firsthand accounts. And there's one story in particular that always has stuck with me because there were so many good nuggets of information in that story. And I'm going to kind of relay it to you guys here from memory as I remember reading it. It was originally published in a 1913 copy of Outdoor Life magazine, I believe April. And this particular story was actually rewritten in different, compilation accounts of outdoor adventures, I guess, in other publications. But this particular story always stuck with me. And it illustrated the difference between how a white man looks at being out in the environment and how a native looks at how being out in the environment. And this particular story happened in St. Michael, Alaska, and I actually looked up St. Michael, Alaska. It is on the coast of Alaska, and it tells about a particular storm. And in this particular storm, there was a Inuit woman, a young Inuit woman. She was out with her baby, and she had nothing with her except her clothes, her parka, and the baby. That's all she had. And there was a white man with a dog team with a bunch of gear that was out in this same storm. And when the storm blew up, the Inuit woman got away from her cabin, and she knew she was in trouble. So she got down, put her back to the storm, put her hood over her parka, kept her baby close to her, and she knelt there for the duration of the storm, which was 12 hours, complete whiteout. And when the storm subsided, she was only a few yards from her cabin, and she got up and she went to her cabin, and she made it. She survived with her baby, really none the worse for wear. And I guess that's the first point of this video. You don't want to lose your head. You want to realize when you're in trouble, and you want to hunker down to weather whatever is going on, especially in cold weather, especially in the winter. And one of the things that it said in this article that she had was a small artifact that they carried, the Alaskan natives carried in their pocket, and they used that to rub and to hold on to keep the dexterity in their hands, to keep their hands from freezing. And while it's not mentioned specifically in that article, it is implied, or the idea exists, and that's what a worry stone is. Native American and Alaskan Native peoples will carry some type of artifact like this. Now, there is sacred and religious reasons for that, but there is also a very practical reason, and that's what I just told you. Because if you have this stone and you're rubbing it in your hands, you're keeping that dexterity in your hands, you're keeping your hands warm, and more importantly, you're consciously doing something so you can't fall asleep. You just keep working this and you keep concentrating on that. It keeps you awake so you don't fall asleep and you don't freeze to death. And this is an old technique, and it doesn't have to be a stone, it can be a piece of wood, it can be anything, but a small artifact like that in your pocket where you can consciously concentrate on will keep your mind awake, will keep you conscious. The next thing, the white man that was out with the dog team, and he had his gear in the same storm, blew in. He got got off his dog team, kept pushing his sled, kept trying to find his way, kept trying to make it through the storm, and he got sweated up. He started to get wet. And that's another thing that I've always mentioned in my videos. You don't want to overwork yourself when you're out in the bush, when you're out in the woods. You don't want to get sweated up. If you feel yourself starting to sweat up, you want to stop. You want to take a layer of clothing off. You want to cool off. You want to stay cool. You do not want to be warm, because if you sweat, you perspire, and that dampness is what gets you. You don't want to be wet, because what happens is the more and more you sweat up, when you finally do cool down, that perspiration on your body will suck the heat right out of your body, and you'll become hypothermic. And what happened was this guy got off his dog team, kept trying to find his way, and what happened was he got separated from his dog team, couldn't find his way back to his dog team, and he ended up in really bad shape. According to the article, they found him 2 days later. Both his hands were frozen, and they couldn't save him. And he was delirious. He was, probably at the point of death when they found him. Even though he had his gear, he had his dog team, he had everything that he needed to survive, more than the Inuit woman did with her baby. He was in a much better position as far as gear, but he didn't learn those lessons that basically came from the natives. When you're in trouble, you hunker down where you are and you let the storm pass. And he did not do that. He tried to find his way in the storm, and that was eventually his downfall. And it just goes to show you, gear not necessarily will save you. Well, it's a benefit. It's not going to always save you. You have to have the right mindset. He had everything he needed. He had the dog teams. He could have hunkered down with the dogs. He had all the same stuff that she had and more, and it just did not help him out. So that's another thing. You don't want to get panicky, and you want to slow everything down. Okay, I'm in trouble. I'm going to hunker down here, and I'm going to let things transpire. That running around to try to find your way, that is going to induce panic, and then that's going to cause you to perspire even more. And then when you finally do get exhausted and you have to stop, you're in bad shape. You're wet, you're cold, you're exhausted, your mind's all screwed up, and you're going to have problems. So that is the main points of this story here that I'm relaying to you guys. So I thought that there's more in that than article than that's just those things, but those are some things that I wanted to kind of mention to you guys, because I think this is a story that needs to live on, and it needs to be out there as far as outdoor survival in the winter, kind of continuing my winter themed videos that I've been doing here for the last few months. But the name of the article, I believe, if I remember right, was Mushing in the North, and it was on page 54 of the Treasury of Outdoor Life stories that was published, I believe, about 1975. And I'm sure if you Google that, you can probably find a used copy of that somewhere out there in our day and age. But just an old story from well over 100 years ago that really has practical applications for modern survival in cold weather right here today. So anyway, it's Modern Refugee. Appreciate all my subscribers out there. Hope you guys get a little information and a little entertainment out of my video. Hope you got something out of this story here, and you guys take care.